I didn't load the startup video into here.
It's all right.
Right.
Nobody's watching this
This
30 seconds anyway. Let's say what we want. Hot takes right now.
All right, cool. I think peanut butter does belong on pizza.
What?
I'll take it.
Yeah.
I think peanut butter and raisin is better than peanut butter and jelly.
Whoa.
You know, I can. That is a hot take, but you know what? I can respect that one.
Yeah.
It's like
I
peanut
didn't take
butter
peanut
and
butter
banana.
and banana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I like peanut butter and banana. That's a good one. Peanut butter and banana.
All right.
You know what? That
We're
sounds
officially
actually
live,
really
huh?
good right now. Yeah, we are live.
We're officially
Yeah.
live.
We are.
Well, Chad, do you want to do a little plug for what the restream here thing? Do we like this better?
Well, we're gonna find out, but so far, yes.
So far, so good.
So far, so good.
I will say I did listen briefly to the YouTube live. It's sounding just as good, so hopefully this will be our new home.
Good.
And yeah, you should be watching us streaming in 2 places now. We have doubled our reach.
We have because God forbid Restream on or StreamYard charges like $800 a year. And I'm like, but why?
That's how they get you.
So if anybody is in the chat, especially on Facebook, if you could drop a comment for us so we could see if it's working, that'd be awesome. But
that would be cool because then I could yell at you. Be like, hello, I love you, you beautiful people.
Wow.
But anyway, so yeah, welcome everybody to the Cosmos, another episode of whatever the hell we are doing.
We're doing it. Whatever it is, we're doing it.
Right, exactly. Whatever.
Who knows?
You threw me off. Anyway, we are going to be talking about the top 5 underrated movies because we decided to take a break from us creating a comic because we were too good at it.
Just too good.
Too good.
Yeah, we were
give everyone all the inside secrets so they could make their own thick comic.
Exactly. We were like, hey, oh good, we can see comments. We see John, and we see John again.
Nice.
Number 1 fan right here.
There he is.
Yay.
Like you're in 2 places at once.
3 places.
All the places at once. But all right, so I'm gonna tell you right now, guys. This prompt was really
subject and you didn't prepare.
No, I did prepare, but it was also one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. Because
wow, the hardest things you've ever had to do
in my entire life. Yeah,
he's got a very sheltered life.
Yeah, I'll trade you.
Hanging those action figures in the background were easier.
That's great.
Why is everybody? Listen, my action figures in the background, it looks cool, so leave me alone.
It does, but it's like that must have been really difficult.
It was, but nothing was preparing me for making a list of 5 underrated movies because there's bad movies and you can name those. There's good movies and you can name those. But what the hell does underrated mean?
Yeah, that is a good point. I felt like it was easy, so maybe I didn't think about it enough. But then I did have difficulty thinking like, I mean, everybody thinks everything they like is underrated, right? Because for me, all the people in the world don't like Primus, so they're underrated to me, right? So because I think everyone should like them, but I did kind of I tried to think of the ones, what movies came to my mind right away, and then I stopped to think, okay, are these like talked about a lot? Are they, were they, heralded in their day as one of the best? And that was kind of how I picked out, the ones that popped into the first 20 movies I thought about,
Yeah. I did the same thing, but I was also looking at what movies I could say, like if I was flipping on a streaming service, I would go, oh, I need to go watch that. Like, yeah, it's not good, it's not bad, it's just me going, no, I want to go see that again.
Sure.
And then sometimes when I rewatch it, I either don't like it or I like it. So I mean, my opinion does change where I'm like, oh, okay, that was pretty good, or no, actually that was pretty bad. So like Raiders of the Lost Ark, when you watch it now, it's not really that good. No, granted, I love that movie.
But
however, when you're watching what?
It does have some rough spots, like just
it does.
Yeah.
Like so for its time, like when you're watching it now, you're like, whoo, this is rough. But like for that time, you're like, oh damn, yeah, this is great. Like you had to be there.
And that could be a subject for another day, because especially since they feel the need to put everything in HD, some movies were not shot to be like, you didn't need to see, then you could tell the skeleton is plastic, right? Because it looks too.
Sometimes you don't want to crisp it up.
No.
Sometimes you want to keep it a little blurry.
Little crunchy.
Absolutely. Sometimes that little airplane that looks like it's flying across the map, you do that. It's just
Hilarious.
It's just it's Connor. Hello.
Where's Connor?
Hello.
Hey Connor, how are you?
You're doing good, I assume. But anyway, guys, so who wants to go first? Like what or Dave, how did you figure out your underrated movies?
Thinking about what you guys were just listening to you guys talking about how you came with your list, I kind of split the difference a little bit. So it was movies that I loved in the 80s and 90s, watching on Sunday afternoon television that they would replay over and over and over again. And it was movies that whenever I say, oh, I love that movie, somebody inevitably is going to go, that movie stinks.
Yep.
So it's kind of in the middle of what you guys were talking about, just because I liked it, nostalgia, and John was saying with Primus, everybody's opinion is going to be different. So that's for me part of the fun. Going, oh, you don't like it? Tell me why you don't like it. You might be able to change my mind.
It's true. It's true. Now, if you talk to Tom Hutchinson, he hates everything. So, you could just talk to him. He'll tell you if a movie's bad, and then all of it will be bad. So, all right, guys.
We'll bring him up to the 5 most overrated
womp,
movies.
womp.
Everyone.
Every movie that's overrated. Empire Strikes Back.
Godfather.
Oh, boy. Can I tell you guys something?
Sure.
I have tried to get through The Godfather. Can't do it. I've never seen The Godfather all the way through. I've never seen 2 and 3 clearly. I've tried to get through it, and I'm sure that it's great. For some reason, there's always just a mental block, and I've tried maybe 2-3 times in the last 10 years, and maybe I'm trying at the wrong time, but I just can't get through it.
I don't think I've made it through all 3. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I can tell you, I have not made it through the first one.
Yeah.
But a movie recently that I'm trying to watch is The Accountant, and I can't get through that movie.
Okay. Was that Ben Affleck?
Yeah.
Okay.
No. We're not talking. We are going to be talking about Transformers, but
I bet it'll come up.
Come on. All 5 Transformers movies are underrated.
I even made a secret 5th Transformer movie, which no one heard about.
What's funny is you guys went to the Michael Bay movies. I went to the original, where Optimus Prime sacrifices himself for the world, the cartoon movie. You got the touch.
Yes, where he sacrifices himself as Jesus.
And we could talk about overrated. Like, people look at that movie with such nostalgia, and it was horrible.
Like anything, it's got good stuff and bad stuff. You're like, oh, I see what they were trying to do there, and you're like, oh, that was awesome. And you're like,
we just remember Optimus Prime died, and we all got depressed for the next 20 years.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we got the touch.
All right. So since John has to leave us because he's a freaking quitter, he gets to go first.
You want to just fire off one each, or?
Yeah, we can fire off one each, and then whichever one we want to talk about.
So the first one that came to mind, where I was like, I went through a bunch of movies pop in your head that you like, and the one that kept popping up and I couldn't get rid of was the 1994-ish comedy Major Payne, starring Damon Wayans.
That's a great movie.
You youngsters probably haven't seen it.
That's a great movie.
It's a great Wayans movie. Brothers.
It's just Damon Wayans. And he was in a bunch of movies around that time. Obviously Jumping Off in Living Color, and before he did his own TV show stuff, he was in a ton of movies. Bulletproof with Adam Sandler, a bunch of them.
Blank Man.
And
I believe Blank Man was it after or before Major Payne?
I believe it was after.
I think it was after too. Blank Man's a great movie.
And Major Payne, that movie, I watched it a million times. It was one we had on VHS. So my buddies and I, we watched it 10,000 times. We repeated the lines, but I really do legitimately think it was a great comedy from that era. It should be talked about like Ace Ventura or any of the other, where they took, a sketch comedian and just let them go super over the top. and it's in that same vein. It almost goes a little too far to be unrealistic, but then there's still some heart to it. The kids that they cast are just like movies in that era where, they almost, like, you could tell they could barely act, but they were funny and they were good in the role, and all the cast was great. And that's one that just stuck with me. So that was why I kept it on the list.
That's
so
a
if
good
you
one.
haven't seen it, it's a great one from that era.
I've never seen it.
You just said the actor's name, but now I'm blanking on his name. What was the actor's name?
Damon Wayans?
Damon Wayans. I couldn't remember his name. My old man brain kicked in there for a second. I love the fact that that character, he created that character, and the character did, like, it was dead on that character through the whole movie. And it fits. It fits great. He could have just done his, like, a mean voice or something, or done something like, not as different, or whatever word you want to use for it. He could have just been a mean guy yelling, and it probably wouldn't have been okay. But that character that he created, I think, really took it to the next level.
And the quick 7-second pitch, he's a drill instructor that gets placed at an all boys school, and he's not happy about it, and he's a hard ass, but he's got a funny voice. So the Pain name comes into play. It's really funny, but I've said enough. Chad, what's yours?
All right, so mine is, I know Tom, if he's listening, he's gonna grill me for this, but I'm gonna bring it up anyway. So I thought really long and hard about what movie I consider as good as a book.
That's hard.
And it is hard, but the movie that I chose was Warm Bodies with Nicholas Hoult and Teresa Palmer. This movie is played incredibly straight. Are you familiar with Warm Bodies?
No.
Okay.
So I'm familiar with it, but I don't know if I've seen it in a while.
Okay. So it's about it's set during a zombie apocalypse, and it's told in the perspective of R, which is the zombie played by Nicholas Hoult. And he starts following this girl around and falling in love with her. And she's running away from the zombies, but then she gradually starts falling in love with him. So it's this rom-com of this essentially supporting necrophilia is okay, which also Howling Commando or Creature Commandos also did that too in the animated James Gunn series. But the whole thing is just played like the zombies have their own society. They train them. They have their own hideout. They teach each other how to hunt. Like that goes in depth into the how the zombies live. And then it also shows the side of the survivors as well, trying to defeat these zombies. But the zombies are also just trying to survive.
So I've heard the name, but I never knew what the movie was about. Wow. Now
it's really interesting. It's really, I think it's really good. When I watched the movie, I was like, oh, you know what? The book, it's based on a book. So I checked out the book, and it goes way more in depth, but the movie covers a lot of the stuff that happens in the book. She starts teaching him how to ride a bike and she push shopping carts and and then talk. And the way they heal the zombies at the end is just one of the greatest, dumbest ideas ever. And I won't spoil it because I really want people to see this movie. It also has John Malkovich in it. And I think Dave Franco, the brother of James Franco. I think, yeah. And I forgot what those two play, but Nicholas Hoult is the lead.
Nice. You had me at John Malkovich.
What?
You had me at John Malkovich. I think I've seen this. I'm pretty sure I've seen this movie. Is it in the similar vein as remember Idle Hands?
I'm not familiar with Idle Hands.
Idle Hands, yeah, where he his hand is possessed. And it's got the girl who played Sue Storm in the Fantastic Four movies. Gosh, I'm having trouble with names today.
Jessica Alba.
Jessica Alba, thank you. Gosh, I need to do better with names.
Oh yes, okay, yeah. It is. It is sort of the same general premise.
Nice. It might even be the same kid as the lead. Now that I'm trying to picture them in my brain, but it might not.
No, Seth Green was in that movie apparently.
Okay. Yes,
not Nicholas Hoult. I think that was Nicholas Holt's debut movie. Now that I'm thinking about it,
I think you're right. Yeah, I think you're right.
Or maybe it was Beast was his. But I know he was something around that time. I believe he was just climbing out,
nice.
Getting big. So, but yeah, so that is my choice of underrated movie.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Hey.
Okay, my turn.
You got it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna change the rules a little bit because this is kind of like a genre. And it kind of follows on the heels of like the John Hughes movies, Breakfast Club, Pretty in Pink, but it kind of takes that concept and like it's like that concept but on crack.
Is it legally?
And there are two movies in that idea that star the same guy, and they're both, I think, they're two of the most underrated comedies of all time, starring John Cusack, One Crazy Summer, and Better Off Dead.
Oh yeah.
I didn't see either of them.
I got it. Well, yeah. Again, it's the definition is why I feel like a Better Off Dead is beloved, isn't it? Like it has a Van Halen song in it.
Yeah.
A dancing hamburger.
But I don't know if I've ever met anybody else that has seen that movie and seen the movie and liked it.
Huh? No, I feel like at least amongst people my age, I feel like that one was talked about a lot, but
yeah.
Maybe not.
Yeah, but it's on. I know that Better Off Dead is on Tubi now, so if you get a chance to watch Better Off Dead, I loved it. Just the outlandish plots and the kind of One Crazy Summer. I think Demi Moore and Bobcat Goldthwait, right? And they're trying to beat this bully in a regatta. Just hilarious stuff.
That one I don't remember much. I'll have to hunt that one.
What, One Crazy Summer? Yeah.
Yeah.
And Better Off Dead with the girl who was one of the princesses in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. She's in a bunch of other stuff also, and I can't remember her name. But I think Better Off Dead is like I said, like kind of like Pretty in Pink if they got hit in the face a couple times.
Nice.
Yeah.
Better Off Dead, and what was the other one?
One Crazy Summer.
Crazy Summer.
You know, you mentioned John Cusack, and the first movie that I went to was Hot Tub Time Machine.
Yeah.
And that movie I feel like nobody has seen, and
you can tell the age gaps here.
Well, I still do when I watch Hot Tub Time Machine. I still do the scene where he goes into the bathroom and he starts going like turn around, right? And he starts like dancing and like that's how he thinks that he'd went back in time and everything. So I think that was Hot Tub Time Machine. But
yeah, it sounds right.
Or no, with that was How to Invent Time Travel. I have seen Hot Tub Time Machine as well, but I think I'm combining the two movies. But anyway, so
yeah, I don't know if I ever saw two.
See,
there wasn't two, right?
Tom has named 2 movies he likes in the chat. Wow, we got to have him on the show. My next one, David spoiled. Apparently, in my search for movies I felt were underrated, I realized I am the number one Damon Wayans fan club. And it is Blank Man, the superhero epic starring a nerd who gets superpowers. It's basically Chad. If he gets superpowers, is the pitch of the movie.
Yeah.
And it's, again, showing his range. It's so funny. It's so over the top. It's just, again, one we watched all the time. And again, I felt like of that era of Sandler and Jim Carrey, his name should have been up there as much. He did so many hit after hit for me, at least.
Robin Givens and David Allen Green. Right?
David Allen Greer. David Allen Greer too is a forgotten legend. So I know in some circles he's probably not, but he
Jason Alexander.
Yeah, Jason Alexander.
I mean, when we grew up with In Living Color, and you couldn't get any funnier than In Living Color back in the day. It was hilarious. Yeah, Blank Man is one of my favorites. I really enjoy Blank Man. It's so different. I don't know if you get away with making that movie today.
I heard somebody mention recently that it came out around the same time as Meteor Man.
The Eddie Murphy movie?
No,
not Eddie Murphy. Robert.
All right, I can't remember his last name.
Same guy that did a Kentucky Fried Movie, right?
Yeah, Robert Townsend, right?
Robert Townsend. Yeah.
So that one I think got, even though again it was a similar kind of silly.
I'm thinking of Pluto Nash. That's what I was thinking of.
Pluto Nash. Yeah.
Blank Man is the forgotten superhero movie of the 90s that everyone should love.
Yeah. What was you're thinking about like running off all these similar genres that came out at the same time. What was the Bill Cosby?
Leonard
Part 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, Leonard Part 6.
We won't get airtime to any Bill Cosby thing, but that was a very good movie.
Yeah, funny stuff. What?
Super
Yeah,
funny.
that's frustrating to be able to like that and then go, but.
But
Yeah. Every time, I don't know if you've ever heard of any of his comedy albums, but Bill Cosby himself is a comedy album that me and my brother used to play over and over and over again.
My grandma had it on a tape, and she would play it in the car.
Oh gosh, yeah, we had it on. We had an actual vinyl, and we pop it in, and whenever he's talking about he's talking about Playground, and he's talking about the horror serials on the radio. And he's talking about like, oh, it's just so funny. If you've never heard Bill Cosby himself, move all the other stuff out of your brain, listen to it. It's so funny.
I still to this day, whenever I let my kids eat sweets before lunch, I tell my wife,
"That is great.
You give us
a chocolate cake,"
and I tell her it's got eggs and milk.
Who gave them the chocolate cake?
God, you guys are.
We can go through the whole album, so we got to stop.
We listened to that on cassette tape. Chad, have you heard of cassette tape?
I've never heard of cassette tapes. They don't know what that is.
Nice. I had on vinyl. I could run 10 feet from me right here and grab the vinyl.
Wow.
What's a vinyl?
Oh,
you don't do that.
Those are coming back though, and cassette tapes are too. Like
cassette tapes are coming up. Yeah,
they would the worst sounding, most inaccessible form of media would make it come.
Oh yeah,
people love their weird thing. But I was right between when cassette tapes were going out. Like I had a couple. Like I had like NSYNC and a couple of others. Wow. Look, I was a pop guy when I was younger. Listen, fucking those NSYNC is the shit. Okay.
Oh yeah.
My first CD,
on your birthday, you're allowed to brag about whatever boy band you want to listen to. It's fine.
My first CD was Ace of Base, so I can't make fun of you.
Oh, nice.
That's fair. No, Ace of Base is a good one. My first concert was NSYNC. Actually, I was 7.
Oh, last week.
It was awesome. So
all right, you're up for number 2.
Okay, mine aren't really in a particular order, but we're gonna keep the comedy train going because I think that's kind of fun. So this one is, I know people are gonna hate it because shut up, but it is Mel Brooks.
Okay,
I believe who did it. Hang on one second.
You should have researched all this prior.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. No, I just listen. I wanted to double check. Yes, okay. So it's Mel Brooks's more underrated film with Leslie Nielsen. It's a horror movie.
Yeah,
and it is
loving it.
Dracula Dead and Loving It. Yeah.
Yeah.
I should have said that one. I saw that in the theater.
Did you really?
It was amazing. Funny. I was like, this movie's amazing.
I bought it on DVD like a year and a half or a year ago because I was like, oh hell yeah, because I love Leslie Nielsen.
Oh yeah.
And I love Mel Brooks as well. I like Young Frankenstein.
I forgot that was Mel Brooks. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah,
it is his most underrated film. I feel like it's very, very well. It's Leslie Nielsen. It's very slapstick, in your face humor, very fast gags. One of my favorite lines, and Tifa, my wife, absolutely loves the line, is where he's like eating the bugs. He's like, "Did you just eat a bug?" No. Yes, you did. And then it keeps going. He's like, "Look, it's in your mouth. It's just it's wiggling." Like, oh, it's like that movie gets me every single time.
Yeah.
And it's just Dracula being this doofus.
Yeah. It's very Naked Gun, but with Dracula, and it's very perfectly. Leslie Nielsen is amazing. Yes. There's only one GIF apparently that exists on the internet, and it's him sipping the blood and going, "It's good." I use that all the time whenever I respond to somebody. I go, "It's good."
It's good. That's funny.
Give him an enema. That's what I love saying too. No, dress him up or take off his clothes and then give him an enema. And like they have to be specific with it all.
That's a good one.
I think it's a great movie. I think Leslie Nielsen is an amazing actor. I'm very excited for the remake of The Naked Gun. Well, it's technically a sequel,
right?
with Liam Neeson.
Yeah,
and I can't get over the fact that that's just a perfect casting.
I thought the same thing. I didn't realize how precious I felt about Naked Gun, and I was like, I don't want to see it. And then I saw his name. I'm like, all right, I'll give it a shot.
Yeah,
I like in the commercial in the previews how he's just going for it. Yeah, this guy, it's ridiculous. Just go, but he's like deadpan.
Liam Neeson.
Liam Neeson, thank you.
Yep.
Just deadpan, but going for it. Yeah, I'll give it a shot.
Pulls off the little girl mask. And then he's like, thanks, grandfather. And it's Leslie Nielsen, his son. Like, you find out it's like his great-great-grandson or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited. Didn't see that type of comedy is coming back. Because I think we need that. Airplane is one of my favorite movies.
Oh yeah,
I think that movie's great. So anything Leslie Nielsen is in, and I'm totally there.
I'm Damon Wayans, you're Leslie Nielsen.
Yeah, I guess so.
I think this is not my pick, but I think a very underrated Liam Neeson movie is the A-Team.
The A-Team?
With I can't remember any of their names right now because I'm drawing blanks on all names today apparently. But the remake of the movie, I thought it was very entertaining. Was it the greatest movie ever made? No.
I didn't see
Was it
that.
entertaining? Sure.
Yeah. I actually didn't see it.
Oh, go check it out. It's worth watching.
Yeah, well, I didn't know he was in it. So
yeah, he's Hannibal. Yeah.
What's your second one?
My second one. Okay, so this is. I think it's because growing up in the early like I was 11 by the time, or no, I'm sorry, I was 15 by the time the 90s hit. But and this was maybe right before. I'm trying to remember the timeline, 87, 88, 89, something like that. But I think it's because the cartoon really influenced me because I love the cartoon and still love it to this day. I think that Ghostbusters 2 was an underrated movie.
Really?
Yeah. I agree with you because everyone doesn't like it, and nothing will ever be as good as the first, but it is so good and so funny. There's so many quotable lines and moments. Vigo is a funny and memorable villain. It's very good.
It's I think when they came out with the real Ghostbusters, and like I said, some of those cartoons, some of those scenes in that cartoon was scary. I thought for a kid's cartoon doing some of the stuff. Could give you some nightmares. But when they kind of like aligned it a little bit more with the cartoon and made it a little more kid friendly, I know a lot of people were probably irritated about that because they wanted it to be grit and gritty in New York City and all these things. I think it still was on some level, but I think it was a slight shift for the franchise. And if we would have gotten a solid Ghostbusters 3, then I think. Maybe 4 or 5 years after that, I think it could have done something really cool. But
I agree 100%. That's such an easy. They had such a perfect setup to just do a franchise.
Yeah,
and they talked themselves out of it. And like you said, the cartoon shift was good. The toys were cool. They could have went into more movies or more, and they just botched it.
Yeah. Yeah, not a perfect movie. I mean, creating things is hard. We all know that.
Yeah.
But I think that it had so much. I mean, Bill Murray, just put Bill Murray in front of the camera and let him be Bill Murray. He knows that character so well. He creates these characters that are all just like, variations of himself.
Yes.
But to just let him go there and be Bill Murray is enough. And him and Sigourney Weaver together are great.
Yep. And the Jackie Wilson song and everything's great about that movie. I love it.
Yeah, people give the Statue of Liberty stuff at the end like they think it's like, oh, that's cringy or oh, that's whatever. I think it's great.
They fought a Marshmallow Man in the first one.
I was about to say the first one they fought a Marshmallow Man.
They're hunting ghosts. Like it's not like
I know you guys are gonna beat me up, but since we're speaking of Ghostbusters, I think the 2016 movie is not that bad.
I did not make it all the way through. With the women Ghostbusters.
Yeah, I mean, is it because it's women? Is that why, John?
Well, I kind of got to the Chris Hemsworth parts, and I was like, yeah, my wife.
Those are my favorite.
I'll give it another chance. I didn't think it was, an abomination. I just thought it wasn't.
Right. No, great. I just didn't think it was that bad. I think it gets too much. I think it gets shit on too much, and in reality, I'm like, why? Everybody's just being very, like, everybody's having a lot of fun. The energy's there, like. Yeah.
There was a few too many scenes where they let them kind of ad lib, and I'm not saying any of the actresses aren't amazing. I just think it killed the flow. Like they let it go too far. They didn't. It felt like a director thing. Like they knew how to rein it in the original Ghostbusters. Ivan Reitman did, and then they didn't. They were just like, oh, it'll be funny. It's like Saturday Night Live. They'll tell but it was like 40 seconds too long.
I think with the all female Ghostbusters, I really do think it came down to the script.
Yeah,
because in my mind, it was all over the place.
Yeah, I felt like it was loose. Like they were trying.
Yeah.
Well, you guys are all super funny, amazing actresses. You'll figure it out. And then like they didn't really piece it together.
And you never knew who the Venkman was. Who was in charge? Was it Melissa McCarthy or was it?
And it seemed like it was supposed to be Melissa McCarthy, and then it wasn't.
Yeah.
And Kate McKinnon is so funny. I love her, but it just it didn't come together.
I think all those comedians, those women comedians are really funny. It's just I thought it was a good time. But I do agree. I thought there was too much ad-libbing, and I didn't really think the story was all that interesting. But it's a lot. I just think it's fun to watch.
Yeah, they did some good stuff. I really like what they did with. I can't remember the
Hemsworth is hilarious.
The one female Ghostbusters name, but she worked in the subways. And they like her expertise. They all had little areas of expertise, and her expertise was understanding the city, was knowing the ins and outs of the city, the roads, the subways, the everything, all that stuff. I thought that was from what I understand and remember, that was what Ernie Hudson's character was supposed to be in the original Ghostbusters. So they brought that concept back, and I think that was really smart. It gave that character a reason to be there, except for if it's steady paycheck in it, I'll believe anything you say, which is great. It's a funny throwaway line, but it doesn't really give Ernie Hudson's character a reason to be it. The first time he saw a real ghost, any normal human being would be like, screw this, I'm out of here. This is not, So it gave her a reason to be there. It gave her like the strength to be able to draw on. And I think that was maybe what Ernie Hudson's character was missing in number one.
When he got axed, it was a big thing between him and the director. So he did have a bigger part. That's too bad.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to cut it short, guys. I'm going to fire off my other three and let you guys argue.
Let's do it.
All right.
3 is the awesome comedy from Jim Carrey, Liar Liar, one of his movies who doesn't get talked about enough. Again, infinitely repeatable, funny concept.
I just
executed well, great cast, everybody's great. Just love that movie to death.
I love that movie too. I disagree with you. I think a lot of people like that movie, but anyway,
I feel like again, it's not one of his where it's like that's held up in esteem, like
Bruce Almighty
and Bruce Almighty
and
and Truman Show and stuff like that. And the other one, this one, most people I mentioned this movie to haven't even heard of it. It's called Digstown. I don't know if you've seen it.
Nope. Never heard of it.
Digstown. Okay.
It's Lou Gossett Jr. and he's a retired boxer. And he goes back to this little town where a famous boxer had come from, and somebody down on his luck con man is basically talking crap in the bar and saying, this guy would have beat him and he could beat 10 guys in one day. And of course he overcommits and has to commit this boxer and coming out of retirement. And it's this whole thing about this seedy racist town and all this stuff that's going on. And James Woods plays the seedy con man, and whatever you think about him as a person now, he's amazing in the movie. It's so good. And again, a lot of people haven't even heard about it. So that one I felt like really fell into underrated because, most people haven't even heard of that one.
Yeah. Now that you're sitting here reminding me of the plot and the actors, I'm like, I think I'm at least aware of that.
You probably caught it on Comedy Central on a replay or something. It was on.
I feel like that's one of those movies that I seen like Looney Tunes or something do a parody of.
Maybe.
Like now that I'm thinking,
that might be where they got the plot.
I mean, maybe because what you're describing does sound kind of familiar. So I'm like, but anyway.
And my last one is. He gets shit on a lot in general. I think he had a hot streak of really amazing movies, and I think his best is M. Night Shyamalan's Unbreakable. I just felt like, again, at least half of a movie is how you cast it, and he just picked the right cast.
I thought most people like Unbreakable.
I feel like, again, because M. Night, it's not his big one, and that was kind of where people felt like he took a turn for the worse.
Oh.
Again, underrated's difficult, right? I think anybody, people are so against M. Night Shyamalan in general for his misses that people are like, oh. And again, as far as superhero movies, whenever people say superhero movies, that's the one that always comes to mind for me. It's just a really cool, realistic take. And again, the acting is just great. The twist is great. Everything about it is just awesome. And it's one of my wife's favorite movies too, so we watch it quite often.
We're talking about the Bruce Willis one?
Yeah, Unbreakable, yeah.
Unbreakable. Yeah, I like it.
Not to be confused with the James McAvoy one, Split.
But that is a sequel to it,
isn't it? Yeah.
Yep. And then the Glass is the follow up. It's like a.
And we did not actually, as much as my wife and I like that, we saw the bad reviews and never gave those a chance. But we probably should.
Split's
I think
fun.
I've seen Split. I enjoyed Split, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, John, if you're taking off, I'm not going to lie to you. Chad and I are going to have a little generation gap, so I might have some movies that he's never seen, or movies that he'll have that I've never seen, or so this would be interesting.
I'll jump in the comments tonight and bring you back together.
Sounds great.
Great.
Take it easy, guys.
All right, man.
Take it easy. Next time we should get Tom Hutchison to come in too. I think he could grill us.
Yeah.
As well. I'll actually ask him. Maybe we'll come back next time. Anyway. So, do you want to go next? Do you want me to go next?
Yeah, no, I'll go next. So, let's see. I'm going to run down. Let's see. Okay, one that I know that our viewership has seen. I just watched this again. I got a burr up my butt to watch this probably about a month ago for whatever reason, and I watched it. I'm like, this isn't as bad as people say it is, or that I remembered it being. Or it's, again, not a perfect movie, but it's got enough good stuff in it. And for me, it's a good third edition of a series, Superman 3.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that the one where he goes back in time?
That's the first one. That's the first one. This is one with Richard Pryor and the supercomputer.
I've never seen Superman 3.
Give it a shot. If you walk in with an open mind and you know that Richard Pryor is going to be jumping around and he's pretty funny in it. But if you walk in with an open mind, knowing that it's just going to be like a fun ride and it's not going to change your view of the world or Superman or anything like that. But I really do think like the Clark Kent, Lana Lang stuff, I think it really works well. And I think that the fight with bad Superman versus Clark Kent, I think works really well. I think there's a lot of stuff that does go really well. Unfortunately, I think that this is one of those times where their budget was the problem. At the very end, the climax with the supercomputer, there's some really good stuff in there, but just not quite enough to give it that oomph that it needed. So the one when the lady gets sucked in the computer and she starts turning into a robot, that was again nightmare fuel when I was a kid. Still to this day, it freaks me out. So I think that Superman 3 is a pretty underrated movie. If you've never seen it, give it a shot. It's worth checking out.
I will. I do like Richard Pryor, so I am not opposed to saying, "Hey, I'll give it a shot." Didn't he die recently?
No, I think it's been 5 or 6 years.
Has it been? Okay.
Yeah, Richard Pryor's in some great movies. The Toy, which again probably wouldn't be made today, but a great movie. Stir Crazy. Brewster's Millions is a great movie. A lot of these movies they've remade or reimagined or whatever, but he's got so many great movies that are just kind of being forgotten through time. But Richard Pryor was an amazing actor, great comedian, loved it.
Huh? Maybe I'll need to take a look at more of his movies because I've never saw Superman 3 and I didn't even know he was in that movie.
Yeah,
so.
Brewster's Million is a great one to start with if you want to be. Died in 2005. Thanks, Christina. Brewster's Million is a great one. John Candy is his comedic partner in that, and they're amazing together.
John Candy.
Yeah, it's a great. I think it's on Tubi, or it was a few months ago. Brewster's Million and The Toy. Those two movies right there. If you're not a fan of Richard Pryor, they'll make you a fan of Richard Pryor.
Hell yeah, I will watch
it.
So, all right. I'm actually, now that I noticed, I actually got quite a bit of horror movies.
Oh,
my list.
I'm a big fan. Let's do it.
Cool. So one of the movies I wanted to talk about, because I'll spoiler alert, I just thought of my fifth one because I was like, oh shoot, I only have 4. But I'm gonna stay away from horror right now and talk about. Are you a fan of Miyazaki?
I don't think so. Is that a director? If I don't know, then no.
Hayao Miyazaki. Howl's Moving Castle, Spirited Away.
No.
John, come back here. All right. So
I've heard of Spirited Away.
Okay. So Hayao Miyazaki is a huge, award-winning, one of the greatest animators ever from why can't I remember the dang Studio Ghibli. is his studio. Dang it. He owns Studio Ghibli, big animator, done all kinds of movies, won all types of awards. Anyway, there's a lot of movies that everybody talks about, and those ones I just mentioned: Howl's Moving Castle, Spirit Away, My Neighbor Totoro, which is one of my personal favorites as well. But nobody talks about the one. Also, my wife will watch Miyazaki movies like all day. Like you throw her, she will watch entire marathons of them, but she never watches one damn movie that I want to watch with her. She hates it. She doesn't really like it, but I really like it, and I think nobody really talks about it. Is Porco Rosso. And Porco Rosso is a movie about a guy who gets cursed with the head of a pig.
Okay.
And it is set during the World War One, where it is Porco Rosso as a bounty hunter, and he has to fight, essentially the government. It's just full of dogfighting, big airplanes, sky pirates, just huge battles. Porco Rosso is like this ladies' man that has the head of a pig, and all he does is hit on them, which, again, this probably would never be made because he harasses the shit out of them all the time.
Yeah.
The movie itself is very pretty to look at. It's mostly taking place in the sky. If you like Castle in the Sky, or you like even I can't remember the other one that's in the sky. Anyway, if you like Castle in the Sky and all those, it all takes place in the sky. Sometimes it is on the ground, but mostly it's them flying, and it shows Miyazaki's love for planes because he loves flying contraptions. He also loves drawing them and drawing water and all kinds of stuff. So it all takes place just in the air and over water, and it's absolutely beautiful.
Most of these are on Netflix at this point, right?
They're all on Max.
Max, okay.
Yeah, so
I'm gonna have to check them out because I do like anime. I'll be honest with you. I think the last real true anime that I watched was Akira.
Wow.
So that's what, 82? 1982.
Wow.
But I do love that. I love that movie, and I like anime. I just never sit down to watch it. I don't know why.
Then you should definitely check out Porco Rosso.
I just wrote down everything you just said, and I'm going to check them out.
Great, awesome. It's fun. I feel like when people talk about Miyazaki, it's always, well, did you see Spirited Away? Yes. Did you see Howl's Moving Castle? Yes. Did you see Totoro? I've seen it like 7 million times. Have you seen Porco Rosso? What's that? Well, let me tell you. Like people don't talk about that one enough, and I think it needs more love.
All right, yeah, I'll definitely check that one out. That's awesome.
Yeah. So what do you got, man? What do you got?
So let's see. I've got my list here, and I'm trying to like pick from my list of things that will be the most interesting. But I think that my next movie is one of those movies that has great actors in it. It's a great story. It's based off Homer's The Odyssey. I don't think it just ever really got the views or the love that it should have got, which was Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? With George Clooney.
Oh. Did I? Yeah, I did. I saw it in the theaters.
Yeah, great movie.
Yeah, I saw Spirited Away in the theaters. Yeah, I also saw Akira in the theaters too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
nice.
So, what is Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? I've heard of it. I've never seen it.
So it's based off Homer's The Odyssey. It's the the Coen brothers.
Yeah.
And it's like John Goodman, and there's a whole 90% of the actors in it you would recognize them. Oh, I remember them from this show, or I've seen them in that TV show, or whatever it is, or that movie. But it is it's based off The Odyssey, and it is about 3 convicts who escape prison, and they're going after a treasure. And then they just kind of go through all, they meet the sirens, the 3 mermaid sirens. They're not really sirens. It's based or it takes place in 1930 Alabama, I believe. So and the Cyclops is John Goodman, but it's got an eye patch. So it's all very contemporized to the 1930s, I guess is the word I'd use.
Seems plausible, at least.
Yeah,
it
makes it more realistic to the 1930s. So
it has John Goodman in it, but he just has one eye in the middle of his forehead. It's very realistic.
I think that every line
that's what John Goodman looks like. So
yeah,
it's true.
Yeah, I think that every line in that movie is quotable, and Katrina just said, "A Man of Constant Sorrow" is a great song. And flew up the charts because of Bro Brother Rather. So maybe it's not as underrated as I think it is. But I think it's one of those movies that people don't talk about enough. It's a good movie. Oh, we lost Chad.
I'm trying to think. I don't think I've seen it, but I know of it.
Check it out. It's worth seeing. If you just like fun rides and it's got some great stuff in it. And like I said, I think every line is quotable. It's good stuff. All right, and so you just popped in. So give us your first movie that is underrated.
Well, the first movie I think is underrated is a movie called Never Cry Wolf, which is my favorite movie. It's a Walt Disney movie from '82. It could be '83. I think it's '82.
Which movie?
It's called Never Cry Wolf. Like I said, most people have never heard of it.
Correct.
It's.
I think that I have seen this movie. Give us the plot, basic plot here, and I'll.
Yeah, it's about a guy who goes up to study wolves in the Arctic, because they think the wolves are decimating the caribou herds.
Yeah.
So he goes up by himself into the Arctic and studies them.
Mm-hmm.
And stuff, and then he just kind of goes on this sort of, I guess you could say, spiritual journey as he goes up there.
I think I watched this movie in middle school.
Yeah, used to play it on Wonderful World of Disney on Sundays.
Mm-hmm. It has a little bit of male nudity, and so I think that's why Disney's kind of shied away from it a little bit, because it's not completely family friendly. But this is back when Disney was actually doing. Yeah. No, but this is back when Disney was doing actually like cool stuff in my opinion. I think they were more of a think tank or a creative endeavor, not so much
able to take a couple more risks because they didn't.
Right.
Well,
yeah, they were. I mean, these are the same guys who did Tron, which is another underrated movie, which is one of my favorites, original Tron. Of course, I don't know how underrated it is because people really like it, and they're making sequels to it.
The new one looks cool.
Yeah, the one with Ares. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of wish they would go back to the original style. I think some of the lights in the costume too simplified. I like the better when they look like circuits. But that's a small nitpick. I think overall it'd just be cool to see them do that sort of sophisticated look that they did in the original.
Yeah.
I know underrated, but I know it's popular. Dread. I like Dread. It's one of my
Carl Urban
movies. Carl Urban, yeah.
I have never heard anybody that hates that movie. I don't think that's underrated.
Yeah, I don't think it's underrated. But, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I like it, but I don't think it's underrated.
I like him, but I've never seen it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, you're missing out.
yeah, Dread's worth it.
Yeah. It's very good.
I'll write it down.
If you wanted,
I like him. Play Bones in Star Trek, right?
In the J.J. Abrams ones, yes, he did play Bones.
Yeah. And Chris Pine was there.
Sorry, I should have said the remake, Star Trek remakes, the Kelvin timeline.
Yeah. I didn't see them.
Yeah,
I saw a 1 or 2 in the theater. They were. I mean, it was action Star Trek.
Yeah,
I'll tell you. I've only seen one episode of Star Trek my entire life.
Original series or
it was whatever. It was any of them. I've seen one episode, and that was the Tribble episode.
Oh wow!
Well, that's like one of the more famous ones. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
just not interested. You just don't have any interest.
I was always a Star Wars person. I don't have anything against Star Trek. It's just something that I never found myself interested in. I really like Doctor Who as well, but Star Trek was just not ever on my radar.
Yeah,
so.
Oh no, it happens. I like the Next Generation because that's what I grew up with. That was the original one. I could take or leave. It was not like a.
I'm a Next Gen guy too. I really like Strange New Worlds. Strange New Worlds
that's really well done.
Yeah.
When I watched the first 2 seasons, I can't remember if I watched the third one, but the first 2 were really well done. I thought they really got back to like exploring space.
I agree.
I tried Deep Space Nine and Voyager, but I just couldn't get into the whole war aspect. I like that.
Yeah, they're a little bit different, aren't they? They're a little bit different animal. You know what I think? That Strange New World, and believe it or not, and you guys probably agree, or if you watch this, the Orville. Seth MacFarlane.
I heard that.
I think he really hit what Star Trek's supposed to be. I think Orville is great.
Yeah,
that is a hysterical show.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
It's okay. If I've ever, I lied. I have seen more Star Trek episodes. I've watched the Orville.
You watch the Orville, yeah. That's basically Star Trek. Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically It's his
it's like uncomfortable Star Trek. I love the whole weird thing where the doctor lady's falling in love with the android, and he's like, "What the fuck? like, what is going on?"
Yeah, I hope they get a fourth season. It's been what 3 years since the last season came out, so probably not.
No.
But 3 seasons is a good run for a show like that in 2025. So hopefully a fourth one or maybe a movie, something or other. But I think that it was really good.
I can see them doing that. I was a big fan of I like the Ash versus Evil Dead, like the Evil Dead movies, but the TV show Ash versus Evil Dead.
Oh, okay,
that was great. That was hysterical.
I like Shoot 'Em Up. Jacob's Ladder is good.
That's a good one.
The original Descent, but the Descent with the uncut ending. If you've ever seen the uncut ending, the original ending, that makes the movie. I watched the American ending and I was like, crap. So I just watched
the American ending.
Yeah.
Wait, the Descent had Wait, are we talking about the one with the cave?
Yeah, it had 2 endings.
It did?
Yeah.
Oh,
you got to get the unrated. The unrated one is the director's ending, and in the director's ending, they never make it out of the cave.
Huh?
And it's much more Lovecraftian.
Well, see, that makes sense now because I hated the second movie.
Yeah, I don't even know if I saw the second one. Because the first one was like, it shows the original ending to the American when she gets out of the cave and gets in the car and runs away.
Yeah. And
then it like shows her and her daughter looking at her daughter, and you realize that's her wish fulfillment. And as you back up, you see her just like she's actually one of the caverns deep on the ground, staring at her daughter, having hallucinations, and you hear all the creatures coming to get her, and then it just ends.
Yeah.
So it's a descent into madness. She's just snapped. So it's very Lovecraftian, and that to me was like the best ending because it was like, you're not getting out of these caves.
Yeah.
So
I love when it ends in tragedy. Like that's such a because people don't expect it nowadays. They want all that tied up into a nice little bow. But that's not what life is, So I really like it when they take the chance to say they didn't make it.
No, and I think a lot of this is mostly American horror. When I've seen, they always have like a happy ending. They escape, or somebody escapes, and somebody gets out, or somebody lives.
Yeah, maybe 1 or 2 people die, but the main character at least wins or survives or whatever,
or defeats it. Yeah, a lot of the foreign horror I said is not that way. Like they're all gonna die horribly, and they're not gonna make it.
Yeah.
So
That's
always.
Because they have to franchise on it. That's why they let.
I know somebody's got to live to tell the tale, right?
Yeah. But the Descent 2. I always want to say the Descendants, and that's the Disney movies.
Yeah.
Descent. The second movie is Aaron. Let's say you and we get out of the cave, okay?
Yeah.
We're in the car, or we're in the truck, we're driving away, and all of a sudden I go, I forgot my keys, and I turn back around.
Seriously?
And I go back into the cave. Yes, it takes place an hour after, and guess what happens?
They run back into the same thing.
The same thing happens, and then she dies.
Wow, that's pointless.
Yeah, she dies in the very beginning of it, and then I couldn't get through it. Like I got maybe 20 minutes in, and it's the other girl that she left behind. Like it's her whole thing, and I'm like.
Well, I think they did the same thing in the Friday the 13th series, right? Number 1, spoilers alert, 40 years later, it was Jason Voorhees' mom who was doing all the killing.
Right, that was a twist.
And then number 2, they brought the main girl back. I can't remember her name. And then she died within the first 15 minutes of 2. If I remember correctly, it might be 2 or 3, but I'm pretty sure it's 2 that she died pretty much right away.
Yeah, but there was a reason for that though. And Descent, she had no reason to go back to that cave.
It's just your keys are gone, dude. You can make new keys.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm not saying she really forgot her keys, but that's.
But I mean, like whatever's been there.
Yeah, I forgot this. Oh no, I forgot my pizza.
Even if it's like your best friend in there, you can make new friends.
No, just listen. If you get out of that cave and I'm still there, I'm alive. Just go.
Just go. Yeah.
Legitimately.
Good luck, buddy.
Yeah, make up a fun story about me that I went out beating the shit out of something.
Yeah, no doubt.
And there you go.
That's funny. You talking about the horror movies. I've mentioned Tubi 3 or 4 times already because a lot of these movies that we're talking about is on Tubi. But I watched. Trying to go through some of the old 30s, 40s, 50s horror movies that they've got on there. And Vincent Price, The House on Haunted Hill. Have you guys ever seen that one?
I've seen I don't know if I've seen the
not
original.
The remake.
I know that there was a movie. Yeah. I read the book.
Oh, really? Yeah, I've never read the book. But there was a couple
really
times. I'm sitting there. I've got my earbuds on, but got my phone sitting right there, and I'm watching it while I'm doing other stuff. And as I'm doing other stuff, I kind of start paying attention. And I jumped a couple times. My wife's like, "What are you watching? What are you jumping?" I'm like, "Oh, you don't want to know. She doesn't like horror movies." But even something from so long ago, I jumped a few times. It was really good. Yeah. Problems with the plot here and there, things they would have done a little bit more in the 21st century. But I think The House on Haunted Hill is an underrated horror movie that Vincent Price should be a little bit higher up on the scale. He's very high on the scale, I know, but
the other one
should be remembered a little bit more than he is today.
Yeah, well, they just saw a poster for him for like his birthday.
Oh, did they?
On Facebook, I don't know for his birthday. They said it's funny you should mention because they had a post the other day.
Yeah, it was yesterday.
Was his birthday yesterday?
Yeah.
Well, okay. Tribute.
All right.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, again, I was like, oh, Vincent Price, Yeah. So, underrated horror movies. Go to horror movies like Jacob's Ladder is one of my favorites.
That's a good one.
I've never seen it, but it is on my list to see.
If you play the Silent Hill games,
oh yeah,
then you've basically played Jacob's Ladder. The Silent Hill games are pretty much ripped right off Jacob's Ladder.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That was one of his big inspirations for that. No witches though. Sorry. I know, bad. I'm looking to have all my movies next to me. I don't know. I like a lot of. This is an underrated one just because everyone hated it, but I actually liked that Lost in Space movie.
Oh,
that came out in the mid-80s. Yeah, I don't know. There was something kind of like. I don't know. There's something about that. I like the family aspect. I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, it did have fun stuff.
Yeah. And so I thought it wasn't like the greatest movie. It's not going to win any awards, but I certainly like some of the designs. I really like the fighters. They reminded me of like B-wings. Mm-hmm. I thought those things were really cool.
Yeah, you can put Heather Graham on the screen and I'll watch it.
Yeah, pretty much right.
I actually think
and Mimi Rogers. Mimi Rogers was the mom, right? Oh boy.
Yeah, she was. She was. That's right.
They're hitting on all cylinders with that movie. Maybe I need to rewatch that movie.
Yeah.
Talking about underrated horror movies and other stuff. The Hills Have Eyes. I think
I've heard of that, but I heard that's intense.
I'll be honest with you, Chad. I started watching it because I love horror movies. Don't mind gore, don't mind blood, don't mind any of that stuff. I probably stopped when the car starts turning over and the family gets in the car wreck and it all starts happening. I'm like, nope. I'm out.
Really?
I did watch it when I just my son was first born. So I was like, okay, no, I'm not going to
eat the baby. I understand, Dave.
Isn't that kind of like a road version of Deliverance?
Yeah, it's also it's have you ever seen did you see Barbarian?
Yeah, I did see that.
It's same thing.
There's something locked in a basement somewhere.
No, it's the same general concept.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of cannibalistic, weird people, things happening. But I always said that the Barbarian is The Hills Have Eyes in an Airbnb, and that's what it is.
It's funny.
I hated Barbarian.
Barbarian was okay. I didn't really. It seemed nobody had discovered these tunnels and this. I'm always finding it weird when just as somebody did a survey, they'd be like, "That's funny. There's a bunch of hollow tunnels under here."
Right.
You think I don't know. It's really hard. The one I like Key and Peele's TV shows. I think his horror movies miss. That I can't quite figure out why. I have another friend who sees them with me. I did like the last one with the alien creature, and it was Up. Nope.
No,
that's
Up
right.
was.
I liked Nope. I thought Nope was good. No, I liked Nope. I thought that was. I really liked that one.
The vagina Pokemon.
It is. I mean, I thought it was an interesting way he did the creature. But
that's
like
what it's about. It's about.
Well, the one with Us, like I just. like they made clones of us that are running around tunnels. I mean, I know there's like weird, but there's like, look,
Get Out. I thought was
dude,
fun.
yeah, Get Out. Get Out was okay. Though I liked Get Out until they started having brain transplants, and then I was like, okay, now you just kind of made it dumb.
Man.
I mean, it was kind of like I thought it was kind of horrific that you had all these rich white people just like taking slaves back, against their will. I'm like, well, that's scary. And then like, well, the transplanting brains. I'm like, no, that's dumb. See, you had a good idea, and you had to like, no, let's do that. Like, no, don't.
No,
control yourself.
You know what? You just got to look at it is that it's black people are better. And that's why they're transporting themselves, that white people into their, like they're moving into black people. White people are going to black people because they're better. That was just the message of the movie. I watched that in a interracial communications class, and that was a very interesting conversation.
That would be interesting.
That'd be a fun conversation to have. Yeah, I think that's the biggest problem with stuff like that is we don't talk to each other enough about like the problems and the aspects. Whether it's all the things we're not supposed to talk about. So talking about those things, you kind of get immune to the anger, and you can just talk.
They didn't like when I said that the reason why white people are doing it is because black people are better. They weren't very amused by my conversation.
Well, it seems kind of almost like there could be something to that. I don't know. I mean,
I mean, but
what's the Bill Burr joke where they were talking about how they were like the whole plan was to build like a perfect athlete, and Bill Burr has a joke about how we kind of already did that because we were breeding slaves. Americans were breeding slaves and making them bigger and stronger. And that's exactly what happened. Not that every single white person can't do sports and all black people are great at sports. And,
but we built that strength into it.
Maybe we shouldn't be talking about this. I'm just saying.
Maybe we're the wrong people to talk about that.
Well, because I really like the only one that he and this was a sin against me. He did the Twilight Zone, and he did I think the Terror at 10,000 feet or 30,000 feet. And I was really excited to see that episode because that was my favorite story in Twilight Zone, and in the Twilight Zone, the movie, they did it, and that's the gremlin on the plane. I love that story. And in the remake, it's like he took the gremlin out. I'm like, why?
There's the whole point.
Why did you take the creature out? It's like they made it something else. I'm like, okay,
there's something on the wing.
Yeah.
There's nothing. Yeah, because originally it was something on the, and the one in the Twilight Zone movie was fantastic. That creature is still creepy. And I've actually seen pictures of the model use of the creature. It's crazy looking.
Is that the one with the girl from the superhero movies? She's a pilot in World War II, or she's a runner in World War II, and she's in a plane.
Oh no, that's not. But I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah, that was a great one. Gremlin.
Yeah, because that was actually like a full-fledged version of that. Yeah. Like the gremlin actually did get in the plane, and they were fighting it. And I can't remember the name of that movie.
Chloe something.
Yeah, I thought a really good horror movie that had a hell of a budget for what it was the movie Overlord. That World War II one, if you've ever seen it, where this team goes in and basically fights zombies in this sort of Nazi castle. It's like Wolfenstein on screen, but the budget for it was just crazy. Wow. It was really good. Yeah, if you can find Overlord, it came out, and I think I saw it in the theater, if I'm not mistaken, and then it just kind of it just kind of faded, and I'm like, what happened to that was such a it's worth seeing. It's if you like zombies and like Wolfenstein types, I mean it's just
I love
all
Wolfenstein.
of that. And so
have you seen Dead Snow?
No, but I know that's a World War II one too. Yeah,
it's them fighting Nazis. It's zombie Nazis in like a cabin in the snow. It's really freaking funny. It's really good too.
Cut us off here, but we're running past what we're doing. So do we want to do some quick plugs real quick and then get out of here?
Yeah, and then actually what do we want to do for next week?
Yeah, you know what? We were just kind of talking about it and reminded me of it. So we had a couple other things planned, but what I'd really like to do, because they're starting to do some of this now, is any cartoon you'd like to see rebooted in live action.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That would be a thing?
Yes.
Yeah, because I've got some, I've got some things that people are probably like, I've never even heard of that cartoon, but it's an awesome concept. Let's do it.
It's funny. I was just talking about that with my wife like 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Because I found one that I'm like, this needs to come back, and I will bring it to the table. So,
because it was one of my favorites. Are June 11th and June 25th.
Okay.
I mean, look at
June 11th might be a problem for me, so that might be the first one I might have to jump out on.
Not acceptable.
Or maybe be late.
Unextendable.
No, not acceptable. Sorry.
Okay. All right, the 11th, the 25th, the 11th, we will do cartoon live action or what we want to see. Live action versions of cartoon. I'll you know what I'm trying.
And we can talk about some of the ones they've already done that have gone poorly. Some of the ones that maybe have gone well. A lot of poorly in there. A lot of poorly in there though. So all right, guys, I actually have to get off here. I've got a guy here to grab some stuff for him. So can I do a quick plug? So I just published issue 31 of my action thriller, The Offspring, where they're still being thrown around through time by the bad guy, the Eternity Man, and they are about to be plopped right into ancient Egypt, where it's going to get even nuttier than it is. So check out Correct Handed Comics, correcthandedcomics.com. And guys, I got to jump off. Okay. Great talking with you guys, and can't wait to talk about cartoons next week or in 2 weeks.
All right.
See you
Bye, guys. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Yeah.
Do you want to do a quick plug, Aaron?
Yeah, I have. I'm just now. I've been moving and doing all sorts of stuff the past few months. I'm just now finishing up my 3rd issue of my Knocked comic series, which hopefully will be done sooner than later. I'm actually working on it on breaks at work, trying to get it done. And
I feel that.
Yeah, so I'm getting. I got one more page left on the cover, and then it's off to the printer. And so you can still find my stuff at like Humphrey's Illustration at bigcartel.com, or just look up Humphrey Illustration or find it. All my stuff's still on sale there. So yeah, and then of course Facebook or whatever. So,
fair enough. Cool. And thank you for joining us at the last minute as well, dude. It's always been awesome. I want to pick your brain more about movies and everything, because I love talking about this stuff. But you can also find me. Stay tuned tomorrow, where I will be announcing the next gentleman who has signed on with Rolling Squid Bones. He approached me and he's like, "Here, I have this book," and I'm like, "Oh, okay." And I read it, so stay tuned for that tomorrow. Nice. And also too, actually, that's all I got.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. That's all I got right now. Like, everything's been pretty quiet for me, except putting together my that guy's book, and then I have a distribution thing that's coming up soon too. And no, I did not sign on who everybody thought I did. So no. Anyway, guys, see you next time.
See you later.
Bye.